There are absolutely tons of benefits to making our own edible landscape. You can make an edible garden in a space of all shapes and sizes to suit what you've got to work with, and the limits are pretty endless. Join us as we take a look into just how you can create your own edible garden and how you can use it to reduce your food bills. Planting your own fruits and veggies to eat used to be super popular hundreds of years ago, back when there were no supermarkets. But with the rise of convenience stores and food delivery, people have stopped planting their own food, or even having gardens or backyards at all. But within the last few years, growing an edible tropical garden is back in popularity once more. There are a few reasons for this. Some people want fully organic fruits and veg that they prefer to grow themselves, whilst others want to reduce their carbon footprint and choose to grow their own to reduce emissions. Yet another reason is to save money, as growing your own edible plants can really cut down your food costs. One misconception is that you need a huge ton of space to make an edible landscape, and this simply isn't true. You can work with what space you have available, whether that's a huge backyard or a little kitchen side balcony in your apartment. Buying fresh herbs can be quite expensive for the little amount that you get, and there's usually a lot of plastic involved in the packaging too. If you're on a tight budget, herbs can transform a plain meal of rice and chicken to one-way ticket to flavor country. Having fresh, in-season herbs on your kitchen window ledge can help you save money and keep all your meals delicious. Depending on what space you have, you can grow your herbs in the soil outside or in a pot in your kitchen. Most herbs love sunlight, so if you're indoors, keeping them on a window is a good idea. But what kinds of herbs should you try and grow first? Chives are a wonderful place to start. Chives can grow from soil or in a pot, and whilst they can die back in winter, they should grow again in spring, ready for you to eat. Chives are related to onions, and their distinctive taste can add a lot to potatoes, squash dishes, and is lovely chopped finely and stirred into sour cream. You can even use the little purple flowers that grow on it in salads for garnish. Mint's another easy one to grow. It is a hardy little plant that spreads easily, so you might want to consider keeping it in a pot. It loves sunlight, so keep it in a sunny place. You can use mint to season meat dishes, particularly lamb, and make an excellent tea. If you want something that grows well in winter, try rosemary. When you cut the leaves for eating, make sure you leave a couple of inches above the soil so that it has a chance to regrow them. Rosemary is a deliciously flavored herb and is very versatile in cooking savory dishes. If you have a little more space than a windowsill, then perhaps try growing some medium-sized plants too. Some seeds or young plants will only cost a couple of dollars, but they can yield crops over and over again if tended to correctly. These next plants can be kept in large pots or planted directly in the ground. Tomatoes are a good popular choice. In a decently sized gardening center, you can get so many different kinds of tomato plants depending on what you like. Just last summer, I grew some cute yellow cherry tomatoes, and they were absolutely delicious. There's not a lot more satisfying than seeing your vegetables garden grow to life. You can use tomatoes for absolutely tons of dishes, blended up to make sauces for meats and pasta in a fresh salad, roasted with some of your homegrown herbs and some olive oil, or my personal favorite, homemade salsa. Doesn't just have to save money, but it can really impress your guests when you tell them you didn't just make the food, you grew it too. Spring onions are easy to grow as well. They ideally grow in a rectangular planter, planted spaced apart in rows. Like the name implies, they are best planted in spring and ready to be picked in the summer. They make a great addition to salads and are a wonderful addition to stir fries and Asian cooking. Peppers grow in a very similar way to tomatoes. The veggies are grown above ground, and the plant does well in a large pot where it gets plenty of sunlight. Again, peppers are a great addition to salads and chopped finely into sauces, and they're really delicious grilled with cheese and rice stuffed inside, Greek style. As well as vegetables, some fruit plants can grow in large pots. A lot of people think you need tons of room to grow your own fruit, but this isn't necessarily the case. Some fruits like berries can grow very well in small places. For example, both strawberries and raspberries. Strawberries grow in a small plant close to the ground, with beautiful white flowers in spring and early summer. The fruits will be ready to eat in summer, and there's not much more sweet and tasty than a homegrown strawberry. Raspberries grow in a more upward growing pattern with thorny stems, and it grows a lot, so it's best to keep this rapidly growing plant in a pot, away from other plants you're taking care of. Both of these plants can give quite a lot of fruits in one year, so it's definitely more economical to grow your own rather than buying them from a store. Berries are usually quite expensive, and for less than the cost of a pack in a store, you can buy some seeds. Then you'll be able to go home and grow enough to last you and your family all summer long. long. If you have a little more space than this and you have enough room, let's talk trees. There's a lot of trees you can try to grow if you have the room and the patience. Trees take a while to establish themselves, so if it's a new tree that you planted yourself, you probably won't see fruit in the first year. But if you want to make a long-term project, buying a young fruit tree will definitely pay off in the long run. You might have to have a bit of patience waiting for it to grow enough to bear fruit, but there are definitely benefits. Trees are strong enough to live through winters, and in the spring, once the leaves come back, they'll flower and give you crops year after year. Apple trees are hardy and easy to take care of. You can get a lot of different varieties, and these grow to a myriad of sizes. Obviously, apples have lots of uses too. You can just eat them, or they're for a healthy snack. Make them into pies or crumbles and use them in savory dishes like with sausages. Pears are similar to care for, except a pear tree will take a couple of years longer than apples until it's ready to bear any fruit. Cherry tree can start in a pot, and once it's large enough can be transferred to the soil. It also requires a lot of tender love and care, but the rewards are worth the effort. Have you ever had a freshly picked cherry off the tree? If you haven't, gotta try it sometime. If a lot of your food budget per month is spent on fresh fruits, vegetables, and herbs, then growing your own edible landscape is definitely something you should be looking into. Depending on your space, you might not have enough room to grow enough to feed your whole family all the time, but you can still save a significant amount of money by having these items on hand. Not only is it going to help you save money, but it is better for the environment as well. Simply using homegrown herbs or having a tomato plant in the summer will cut down the amount of plastic you use by quite a bit. Single-use plastic is a blight on our planet, and supermarkets are full of it, especially packaging fruits, vegetables, and herbs. Anything you can grow yourself saves this plastic from hitting landfills. We can't leave bees out of this conversation. The humble bumblebee is absolutely essential to the ecosystem, and your edible garden will help bee species a lot. Fruit plants have lots of flowers that need pollinating so the fruits can grow, and having seasonal flowers in your garden will attract the much-needed bees. So there are loads of reasons for you to start growing some crops of your own. Even just starting with a few herbs in your windowsill will be saving you money in your wallet and saving our planet. All in all, it can be a little tricky sometimes to grow your own tropical edible landscape, but it is worth it if you want to save money and be better for the environment. Thanks for watching today's video, and see you in the next one.